Good morning and welcome to this edition of Daily World TV. I'm Ajit, Chak, and sitting with me here is Korff. We have been going to discuss the issue of crimes rising over the internet and how they're impacting the lives of women in Central Asia, in Eastern Europe, and how these women are being duped and brought to India under the pretext of marriage and then being forced to become drug couriers or being forced into the sex trade. These incidents are growing day by day. Today, a woman from Uzbekistan has filed an FIR against her boyfriend for having gang raped her and trying to force her into the sex trade. And this is in Delhi. And of late, for the last 2 to 3 years, such crimes have been growing, and more such crimes are being reported from Delhi, especially, and the northern region. What do you have to say that explains this trend and this phenomenon?
Well, when I lived in Europe for 10 years, I lived in Central Europe, which was under communism. And after communism fell, there was a spike in sex trafficking. There was a spike in the so-called Russian bride trade, the Serbian bride trade, and so on. What's happening now is because over half the planet is online, and you have companies like Facebook, who owns WhatsApp, having nearly 2 billion people online. You have Google, which has nearly 90% of the market in searches. Internet crime is becoming increasingly easier as the internet becomes more ubiquitous as a way of doing business. Now, doing business meaning the way the mafia would do things. You'll notice that there's been a spike in financial crimes, online attempts to hack. Even governments are doing it now. North Korea's been busted for hacking into Western banks. Russia got indicted today by the Justice Department for hacking Yahoo. 1 billion accounts were compromised, including mine. I have a Yahoo account. So what you're seeing is these mafias using the internet to go ahead and promise the moon or commit their crimes, and it's an extension of what's going on. The problem, in addition to the rise in it and exploiting vulnerable people, is that law enforcement is woefully behind trying to catch these people. You know, go to the average Indian police office. How many computers do you see? And if you look at their computers, they look like something out of the 90s. So India especially is not equipped to handle this new cyber frontier. It would take years for them to even catch up to today's level, but it would take years physics-wise just to deploy what would be tens of millions of machines, if not hundreds of millions, because of the sheer population. So the exploitation goes down to the village level, where somebody's unhappy with who their daughter wants to marry, they want to make that decision for them, to women that are desperate to get out, or people to go west. They're sold a dream, they believe it, they don't do any checking, they believe what they see on Facebook. You add all of this up, combined with inadequate, ill-equipped law enforcement, something they're just not prepared with, and you have a disaster that's only going to get worse. Just being blunt.
Ken, you're talking about policing the internet and policing Facebook accounts. Now, how would you expect the Indian police to go and verify whether a profile on Facebook is fake or it's genuine? You see, but at the same time, you see the physical nature of the crime is rising. You have women who are invited to come to India from Eastern Europe, from Russia, from your Central Asian republics of the former Soviet Union, like Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Azerbaijan, Armenia. And then these women are expected to join the sex trade when they come here because they have no money, their passports are taken away.
Right.
So obviously the organized gangs operated here, and no organized gang can operate in the sex trade business without the connivance, help, or with the police actually turning a blind eye to what's going on. So I feel that, just policing the internet, okay, you're talking about prevention, right? But here we have a question of crime spiking, crime going up in India itself. Now, how do we handle these situations?
Well, it's not a single road highway, it's multi-lane, and you have to attack it at all levels. Like you have to attack terrorism from the operative who blows up some building or kills people to the ideology that drives it. You can easily check the authenticity of Twitter and Facebook accounts with algorithms. These companies have them. They use them to police their own stuff. They're doing a better job now, but still inadequate. There's all kinds of anti-Israel, anti-Semitic stuff that Facebook only finds out about when people bother reporting it. Even then, it's debatable whether they take action. But there are algorithms that can ping and systematically monitor. Law enforcement has had them for years. The FBI, CIA have them. They'd be happy to help India. That's one front that can be attacked. And they can also find out who some of these people are interacting with. If I'm a gangster and I'm cutting a deal with you as a police officer, the odds are we've used our mobile to communicate or something, or we know a mutual acquaintance. It's a statistical fact that 1 out of every 6 people on the planet knows a mutual acquaintance. It's a 1 in 6 rule. Well, there's 7 billion people, 4 billion are online. Do the math. There is a common core of mutual acquaintances. And for people who want to go for these opportunities, work abroad, then when they get abroad, they find out they're forced into the sex slave trade business. Trust but verify. Don't just blindly go into it. As much as I sympathize for a lot of these victims, many of them were blind in their trust. I've seen it firsthand in Central Europe after communism fell. It was really tough. I was walking through a park one time and some gypsy tried to sell me his daughter. He was offended when I said no. So there are ways to solve it. It's not rocket science. In fact, rocket science would be easier. But without a mandate from the government, the resources to fight it, it ultimately must end and begin with government resolve, because they won't fund the police, they won't upgrade them, and then it goes downhill from there. An algorithm can bust somebody, but if the police don't enforce it, it's going to continue.
So basically you're saying we need technology to fight crime that's generating, actually its genesis in the cyber world, right?
Yeah, you need technology to fight technology. That's the only way to do it.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.